Hey everybody. So, before we jump into this crazy story, I need to give you guys some context as to how this happened. So, I won't say exactly where I live, but you kind of need to know the general location to understand. So, I live in New York, and no, not Brooklyn. But for anybody that has lived in New York or up north knows that basically 7 to 8 months out of the year, you're dealing with the beautiful white stuff that falls from the sky, aka snow. And in New York, we get a ton of it. Now, with all the negative crap that comes with snow, shoveling, salt, the cold, I can genuinely say I love it. I really do. Except one tiny part, and that's driving in it. For anyone that's never had to do it, I feel bad for you when that day comes. And people will probably say, oh, it's not that bad, you get used to it. And that's partly true, but the anxiety it brings me while driving through a whiteout in the middle of the night with no cars on the road to follow literally takes the duration of that drive and subtracts it from my lifespan. And most people have a sense of invincibility until they wreck their car or just go off the road, and those are the people you also have to be wary of while driving. They're usually the people that go flying past you on the road, then 20 minutes later you're passing them in a ditch. But honestly, most of the time it's fine driving in it, as long as you take your time and go slow. Trust me, I've been off the road many times, and I grew up driving in it. But okay, so now that you have an idea in your head of what that's like, now throw a sharp corner in the road, literally, and that's what I live on. So, as you can imagine, I have a ton of stories about people going off the road right by my house. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, we had a guy take out 3 mailboxes and a road sign, and it's freaking summer. There's no snow. I mean, we've replaced our mailbox like 4 times now, had people crash into our trees, take out telephone poles. We even had a car go through our neighbor's house. It's crazy. But this one time I was inside and saw headlights flash towards the house and heard a car horn going. I looked out the window inside because this car went off the road and basically into our yard. And guess who has to get all bundled up and help dig this douche's car out at 10 o'clock at night when they were probably speeding? That's right, me. So, me and my stepdad started walking towards the car when we realized he went right through a telephone pole and now there's live wires everywhere. Then, as we approached the car, I saw the windshield. I honestly thought when I looked in this person's window, I'm going to see someone that can't be helped, if you know what I mean. But it was something even more shocking. I saw an old friend I used to ride the school bus with. I panicked and shouted his name as I ran to the driver door and my stepdad ran to call 911. He wasn't responding to me as I approached his door, so I grabbed it to open it, and when I pulled, the whole door came off. Now, either I'm inhumanly strong, or the door was already falling off. But as the door fell, I could smell gas, so there must have been gas pouring out of his car, and combined with the live wires on the ground, it was not a good combination. So I wanted to help him get out quickly, but when I finally could see how bad of shape he was in, I also didn't want to move him and make things worse. So I was looking him over to see where all the blood was coming from, but his face and his shirt had blood all over it. And as I was looking, it sounded like he was trying to talk, but I think he was in such a daze, he couldn't really get words out. Then it sounded like he started to cry, so I quickly grabbed his hand so he could at least feel he wasn't alone. And I just kept telling him, you're okay, you're going to be alright, the ambulance is on its way. And literally within what felt like 30 seconds, there was a firefighter there who must have been off duty because he jumped out of a pickup truck and started screaming at me to get away from the car. So at this point, I got super mad and started to yell back, like, should I have just watched and let this guy I used to go to school with feel alone in the situation? But before I could even say anything, the actual fire truck pulled up, so I told my friend he was going to be okay one more time because the firefighters were here, and I let go of his hand and walked away. So one thing that kind of made me mad was that they showed up within seconds, but took forever to actually go help him because of the live power lines. And I know they need to care for themselves too, but I just let go of my friend's hand and left them alone crying, and it took like 5 to 10 minutes just to go over to him. But in the end, they did get him out into the hospital, and that was the last time I heard of him. Nah, I'm just kidding. But I didn't hear whether or not he was okay for a couple of days until my mom found out on Facebook. So, before I tell you the conclusion to the story, which, might I add, is pretty funny, I have a short similar story I wanted to squeeze in here real quick. You guys will laugh, or at least I did. So one time, the same type of thing happened. We saw a car go off the road by our house, so I went to check on them, blah, blah, blah. Well, it was this Mexican guy that barely spoke English. Now, his car wasn't messed up or anything, just stuck in a ditch. And the guy told me he lived right down the road. So, being the good person that I am, I was like, oh, okay, well, hop in my car and I'll drive you there. So he gets in, and mind you, it's nighttime during a snowstorm, and he repeats, okay, right down road. So we're driving, and probably a mile down the road, I asked, just keep going straight? Little further, he says. 2 more miles in, little further. So now at this point, it dawns on me. What am I doing? This creepy freaking guy just keeps saying, little further, little further. What if he tries to stab me, or pulls a gun? I mean, I don't know who he is. Is he trying to rob me, or does he plan on stealing the car? Wait, don't look at him. He might see in my face that I'm onto him, and has figured out his scheme. So, keep going straight? What? This guy went into a ditch, got a stranger to actually drive him home, and while he was supposed to be giving directions, passes out. Then, I smelled it. And I don't know how I didn't before, but this guy reeks of alcohol. Now it all makes sense. This scumbag was driving drunk during a snowstorm, probably passed out at the wheel and woke up in a ditch. So I turned the car around and drove back home. Now, when I got back, we tried to wake him up so he could call a ride or something, try to give him a fighting chance, but mainly to get him out of our car. But he just wouldn't wake up, and at this point, he's been sleeping for like 20 minutes. So we had to call the cops, and normally I wouldn't go that far, but when I thought about how this douchebag risked his own life and everyone else's life that he passed on the road, and my life as well, I mean, I was driving through a blizzard to bring him home. So I didn't feel too bad about calling the cops, and when they arrived, yep, he was still sleeping. And it took them a few minutes to wake him up, too. He must have crashed so hard. I wonder what he thought, though, when he woke up to police and flashing lights. But he shouldn't have been driving drunk. So, kids, drink responsibly. When you're older, not now, you little So, back to the conclusion of the main story. So, I'll be honest, I don't remember how, but my friend and his family found out it was me who was sitting with him after he crashed. So, me and my mom went to their house to pay a visit, kind of tell our side of the story, And my friend said that he could hear my voice, but didn't remember me actually being there. And when he told his family about the voice he heard, they thought it was an angel. Me, an angel. Not gonna lie, that gave my ego a nice boost that day. But in the end, he was okay, didn't have any crazy injuries or anything. It's kind of funny, I saw him one day while at Burger Queen. He was working in the back and noticed me at the counter. I leaned over to the friend I was with, and I pointed to him and said, "See that guy? Yep, saved his life." Just kind of messing around. She thought I was joking, and then he came over and told her, "Yep, he actually did." It was pretty funny, and how many people can point to someone and say that? Just ignore him, that's my ego again. So, moral of the story, if you see a wrecked car in a ditch or something, at least stop and ask if they're okay, if somebody hasn't already stopped and is helping them. And if they're alone and wasted, well, call the cops, because they deserve it. Okay, everybody. Thanks for stopping by, giving me a little bit of your time. I appreciate it, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Later. Hey, everybody. I know this video took a really long time to come out, but it's finally here. But seriously, I know this video took a really long time. The next few videos I want to do will be a little bit shorter. That way I can get them out to you guys a little bit quicker. I don't want to have to take multiple months to do a single video. But also, we hit over 100 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. I cannot believe it. And I just want to say thank you so much for subscribing, sticking around, even though this video took a long time to come out. And speaking of subscribers, shout out to Balian. He commented on one of the previous videos and wanted me to shout him out, so what's up, Balian? But yeah, I don't want to keep you guys here too much longer. I don't really have a whole lot to say. Just know the videos coming out in the future will be a little bit shorter for now, just until I get the hang of everything. I want to be able to get you guys more content out faster. So if you have any suggestions for future videos or anything, just leave a comment, let me know. I have a ton of stories, so I'm sure I'll have something for you. And I'll see you in the next video. Alright, later.